On his last day at work, the outgoing Treasury Secretary, Gabriel Makhlouf, has been slammed as clumsy and unreasonable in his handling of last month's budget breach. The State Services Commissioner delivered the public dressing down this morning, but Mr Makhlouf has escaped any serious sanction as he departs for his new job in Ireland. Here's our Deputy Political Editor Craig McCulloch.
Last day on the job after 8 years as Treasury Secretary, Gabriel Makhlouf now leaving under a cloud.
Short of putting Mr Makhlouf in the village stocks, I am doing what I can do here. We are where we are, I am doing what I can do.
The head of the public service, Peter Hughes, clearly frustrated with Gabriel Makhlouf. An investigation has found the Treasury boss acted unreasonably in describing last month's budget breach as a deliberate and systematic hack. This is how Mr Makhlouf explained it to Morning Report.
Imagine you've got a room in which you have placed important documents that you feel are secure, they're bolted down and lock and key. But unknown to you, one of those bolts has a weakness. And someone who attacks that bolt deliberately, persistently, repeatedly finds that it breaks and they can enter and access those papers. And that's what's happened here.
The report says that analogy was unreasonable too. It was later revealed the National Party had uncovered the budget data by using the Treasury website's search bar.
It was a clumsy response to a serious issue and not how I would expect something of this nature to be managed.
Peter Hughes notes the report clears Mr Makhlouf of any political bias and concludes he was acting in good faith. But he says that's not good enough. He says the chief executive should have publicly taken responsibility for the failure rather than deflecting.
When things go wrong, I don't want ducking, diving, running for cover spinning. I want people to stand up, own it, fix it, learn from it and be accountable.
And that's not what's happened here. Not once has Gabriel Makhlouf expressed regret over his actions. He's never offered his resignation. Indeed, he still maintains he's done nothing wrong. Defiant to the end. Peter Hughes says, even taking that into account, the behaviour does not cross the threshold to become a sackable offence.
We can't run the public service on the basis that you're only as good as your last mistake. We can't do that. That's The Apprentice. It's not Fair Go New Zealand.
In any other scenario, Mr Hughes might issue a written warning, perhaps impose a financial penalty. But Mr Makhlouf is already halfway out the door. He's soon to begin a new job as the head of Ireland's central bank. And so today's dressing down is the extent of the punishment.
What's most important to him right now is his reputation. And my sitting here saying the things that I am saying to you is not going to do that very much good at all and is going to be a real burden for him.
The Finance Minister, Grant Robertson, has issued a 5-sentence statement welcoming the report and noting its finding that all involved acted in good faith. A spokesperson declined an interview request, saying he was up north and out of reception. It left the Minister David Parker to answer opposition questions in Parliament this afternoon.
Does he accept that when significant mistakes and failings occur at the Treasury, the buck stops with him? And if so, why did he not offer his resignation to the Prime Minister?
Because that would have been a complete overreaction to
National's not content with that though. Paula Bennett wants both the Secretary and Finance Minister to front up and say sorry.
From our perspective, the very least we should be expecting is an apology to the New Zealand public for the incompetence that's been shown throughout this whole episode.
She and New Zealanders may be waiting a while. Gabriel Makhlouf turned down our request for an interview again. Atu iti whare parimata mō te hōtaka o te ahiahi, ko Craig McCulloch ahau.
Well, in the last hour, Gabriel Makhlouf has issued a brief response to the report, saying he's read it carefully and is pleased his honesty and integrity are not in question. He says the inquiry confirms he acted at all times in good faith and without bias, and acted reasonably other than in his descriptions of the incident. In his first ever public display of regret, he apologises that the budget information was not kept secret, but not for his handling of the breach. The statement ends with a note. Mr Makhlouf will be making no further comment on the matter.